Welcome to the Harvesting Wisdom podcast. Together we explore the vast landscapes of life, delving into the rich soil of experiences, sowing the seeds of curiosity, and harvesting the profound wisdom that each episode unfolds.
Hi.
Hello, and welcome again to another podcast of Harvesting Wisdom. I'm your host, Mike McMahon, and I am with a friend of mine, Anya
Prokopenko.
Prokopenko.
Prokopenko. Prokopenko.
Okay, so there's very few guests where I don't screw their name up, and you're one of them as well. So sorry about that. I appreciate everyone coming and joining us here today, especially you, Anya. Anya, you're, you and I talk about it all the time. You're a cat with many, many lives.
Yeah.
We'd have to have a long podcast to talk about all the different things you've done. But you're from Ukraine. And so we'll talk a little about that. And, you know, we're an environmental podcast and science podcast. And we talk about the environment and we talk about communities and feeding people, agriculture. And Ukraine was a breadbasket for the world and for
Yes,
that part of the world, Russia and
it was.
everything else, right? So really great. And it's very current right now with all the turmoil that's over there, right? So you and I will look at this together, and we'll pick some of the questions, and all I'm going to do is just ask you about yourself. So, you were born in what town?
Yes, I was born in Kharkiv. It's a town on the east side of Ukraine, and it's
Next
like
to Russia?
right next to the Russian border. It's
Okay.
actually it's on the border, my city. And my city is the first capital of Ukraine, so it's pretty big. Yes. Yeah.
And you went to school in the Ukraine?
Yes.
Got your degree? You're an architect. That's one of the many
Everything.
things you are.
Yes, I got the master degree of urban architecture, and yes, I can do the urban planning, kind of similar
That's
to.
what you and I are like.
That's why we met again.
We either like each other or hate each other. One of the two. We're too much like each other. But
Yeah, we have something in common.
yeah. So I'm going to start off with the question that I think a lot of people would want to hear, and that is your experience with what's going on. You left Ukraine um, uh, about 2 weeks after the war
I
broke up.
I left like 1 week after the war started. So 1 week uh, I was like hiding in the shelves and like actually trying to find a way to escape because it was not easy when the bombing started. The road became empty. There was no cars on the roads, no people on the streets. It was like a shooting, and there was like limited time when you can go out. Otherwise, you could be shot
Uh,
by mistake, like from our side also, because there was like many like people's like a spies or doing some sending the coordinates or like reporting to the Russian sides about our military guys. They were hiding in the schools and the kindergartens, the civilian buildings. So
And what a mess. And because you were right on the border of Russia, you were one of the early areas that got invaded, right? And
yeah, actually, like when the war started, the full time invasion, it started in the same time in the all cities, the bombing, like around 4 a.m. They just started to bomb all the cities.
so you remember
And it was
this. What was this like? You're asleep at this
it
time.
was like it was I was working on my own projects, and I was like so immersed in my work, and I didn't watch the news and didn't like keep a track what's going on, because like uh, I was living in another countries, and I just like came to Ukraine for a couple of months to work on my project. and like I didn't watch news, or like I wasn't into like what's going on in our country. And
Right.
then like I just went to sleep, and I it, in like I woke up in the different reality, you know, in the
Oh,
different world.
crazy. Oh,
I was like, what's going on? Why it's so noisy? And my mom and dad, they're in the kitchen, like watching through the window, and they're like, uh, there is a war. You know,
wow.
like there is a war started. And I'm like,
Unbelievable.
which kind of war? What the war? Like,
What is
what's
this
going
about?
on? Like,
Yeah.
I could never have like imagined that I will be like trapped in the actions like that, you know?
Yeah. And
That's
you still have family back there. Father, your
Yeah, everybody was there, and it was like really scary. Uh, I saw, you know, to hear the sound when some bomb flying and does this noise like
oh,
zzz,
high
and then
whistle.
and then you see like that's it fall in front of you like somewhere in the like area, and you see this explosion, and your
S-
window is shaking,
Wow,
you
it's
know.
not even real, huh? It's like surreal.
It's so surreal. Like there was moments when I was like just running on the stairs. I was living in the many floors building, so and the people were hiding in the basements. So
Yeah.
everybody was hiding in the basements. You know, the basements which we when never like entered before, because like it's dirty, it smells bad, and like
Now it's refugees.
yeah, now it's like whole life in
It's
the
in the basement.
basements
Crazy.
and in the parkings, like underground parkings, and we have like subways, underground subways. So when the war started, people went to the subways, and they were like living there like 1, 2, 3 weeks without going like on the outside
No
upstairs.
showers,
Nothing,
you
nothing,
know,
nothing. Everything is
no
just
food.
sleeping on the floors.
Right?
The food, the people were like bringing the volunteers. Like lots of people started to volunteer and to organize some movements, how to help each other, how to help the older people who can't take care of themselves, who
People in hospitals. I mean,
there is like whole areas, like living areas were destroyed, like really like every building, like every apartment, and the older people were still living there and with no food, like maybe with no wall, no windows. And Ukraine, it was the winter time, it was cold, you know.
oh, well, the winter now, and it hasn't gotten better. It just has been continuous war now for
Continuous, it's
two
not,
years, right, or many
yes,
years, and
many years, many people learned how to live in this kind of environment. You know, it's like daily routine. They don't sleep at night because of the bombing.
right.
They might spend the night in the shelters, and then just in the morning go to work and continue their life. Did
Wow.
not sleep, and it's like because everybody has to generate money
Somehow,
somehow,
right?
somehow,
So
and
we start
no
seeing,
matter like what's going on.
we see some kind of market, a new form of
Yeah,
capitalism
it's
of
a new
some
form
sort
of
or
life.
barter, right? That you have to survive. Now, you had the courage to leave, but you also had an opportunity. Now, how about other friends and family? How does it, who goes and who stays, and
It's
what was
really,
that about?
you know, I can't even say what's easier and to stay or to go, and how to choose for yourself,
Right?
stay or go. It's so individual, and it's like it's lots of difficulties, and both of the ways, you know, go leave everything behind, your families, your like your country, your home, lose like the ground under your feet, and go with nothing to a new place and start the new life. For some people it's like really something like really hard. For
Of
them, for
course.
example, it's easier to stay, and that gives them power, even though there is like bombing or something like.
And there's been a lot of people lost, of course, and
Mm.
for many different. When a war breaks out, there's a lot of different
But to
reasons.
start a new life in a new place, it's also like it takes lots of power,
Yeah, let's talk about that
lots
a
of
little. So
energy.
you've lived in Dubai for several years.
Yeah, me for example, like war for me, it didn't catch me. Like
Wasn't too
uh,
shocking because you'd already lived
because
in other
I was
places.
already immigrant for a quite
Right.
for quite some time. I used to work in Turkey in the hotels, and I used to work in Europe, and I used to work in Dubai. So I was like roaming around
You've had
for a
many,
bit.
you've had many lives, and you've done different things. I mean, you're an
Yes, I've done
architect,
so many things.
but then
So for
you've
me, it's
stopped
easy
that.
to start and to like new life. I feel like already lived so many lives,
Well, you and I
like a
talked about
cat.
that. There's very, very few people in the world who can do that and adapt. I
Yeah.
find now, if you had, for instance, grew up in a rural area, never had left the country, um, everything would have been a culture shock, right? But
Yes.
you were educated, lived around different places, and you speak like every language, almost, right?
Yeah, I speak a kind,
Yeah,
a couple of languages.
and what's there's nothing ever clear when a war breaks out. I just always wonder, what kind of maturity um, has to take place. And obviously, world leaders are maybe the least mature humans on the planet, in my mind.
Mhm.
The idea of resolving um, a uh, some kind of dispute by killing people or bombing things or destroying what may have taken hundreds of years to develop and um, is beyond me. I mean,
Fighting is always way down, I think.
but if you took little preschool kids and asked them how they would resolve their problems, the idea of killing one of the
Nobody
other
wants to
children,
fight.
no one would do
No
that,
one wants
right?
to
So
fight.
it's except these leaders are people who are safe themselves and they sacrifice people. Now, it doesn't matter what side of we're
It's
not
not
getting
even people for them. I think it's like a masses.
like a chess
Yeah, it's like
board,
a
right?
game. It's like a
Right,
material. It's a material for them. They don't even like take its personalities. They don't see
yeah,
here someone's son or the mother who lost
no.
their her own
These are
kid.
these are
For them,
demigods.
it's yeah,
These people,
demographs.
and we see this. I see it worldwide. I go to Africa and I see it in South America. And we see, and it doesn't matter the form of government. I can say
Yeah,
that it doesn't matter if it's communistic or technically a democratic, like we supposedly are. It doesn't matter if it's a dictatorship. You have good and you have bad and evil, and I'd say there's a fair amount of these leaders who just are not on the right side of humanity, right?
I don't
Or
know
the
such
environment.
leaders. Who is on the side of
Yeah, that's a
humanity?
great question.
Tell me.
Coming from your perspective, especially. So we know Ukraine was the breadbasket for that
Yes.
part of the world. And what's really kind of confusing to a lot of people from the outside looking in is um, Ukraine was part of the Soviet Union at one point. Ukraine is on the border of Russia, and there's a lot of Russians living in Ukraine and Ukrainians living in Russia. Probably people married intermarriage and similar, speaking the same language. So the lines really blurred. It's hard. It might be easy to hate the leaders. That's easy, but hating people who have had
Oh,
a century of life
they
with.
made us hate. It's
That's it.
easy to make people to hate when they suffer a lot.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
isn't it funny how easy it is to make people hate, but how
their
hard
own brothers and sisters and families. You
but
know how
how
many
hard it is
families
to
got
be
broken.
how hard is it to actually put people back together and develop community
Oh,
again,
it's really hard.
right?
It's so easy to destroy these ties and to make people hate each other, even though they're relatives.
Right.
It's really easy. It's like
Yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah.
But then to build people, to put people together, and to make them work together on something to develop something. It's like
Really
I don't
hard.
know how many times harder to do
Well,
that.
part of the idea is the concept of terrorism, the concept of war. And I would say the governments, all of our governments are terrorists. You know,
Yes,
they may consider themselves not, and they get the people to fight terrorism, but they're the biggest terrorists on the planet. And, you know, when you bomb a country and you have collateral damage, that's what it's called. Like if I bomb
collateral
and I
damage.
miss and I kill your family, um, how many generations does it take for you to forgive me? And the answer is a lot,
You can
right?
say a
So
lot.
it's really easy to feed that fire. It's really hard to get it away. So,
That's why when they say we're gonna stop the war right now, we're gonna stop it, I never believe that.
uh,
Look in the history, look at the wars in general. How many wars stopped quick? How many wars?
it's just continuous.
How easy to stop a war? Tell
It's,
me.
yeah,
Do you think any like new person who's gonna come to
it's a great
the to
question.
rule?
If I
Do you
stood
think he's gonna stop the war like this? Ah, like a Trump. I'm gonna talk and I'm gonna stop it.
if I had
Yes.
a group of students and I was talking to the students and I asked a question, and the question is, do you see there being an end of war? And, you know, ever on our planet, will there ever be an end of war? Ever?
Unfortunately, maybe
And
it's in the human nature, or like what's the fuel for this? Why? We said so many times after World War that's never again, never again. Do you know we were like raised our books, our grandparents, everybody, like our news from all the sources, we were taught like never again.
right.
Never
And
again it has to happen. The war, like we learned, we were like
uh,
studying the consequences, the losses, how many books was written about the pain and about the war and how bad
people
it is
forget it
for the
like that.
humanity, like how bad it
Uh,
is for humanity, and like and never again. And what we see,
10 minutes later, right?
10 minutes later,
It's
everything is same. Like
and we see and what it is war starts with ideology. That's where our nonprofit, Urban Farming Education, we don't politicize. We really don't pick sides. What we want is community to come together and understand that they can grow their own food. People have a right to grow their own food, to eat their own food. No one has that right to take away from people, right?
very
So,
important, especially now when you see they cut the source of the food for many countries for Africa, because Ukraine was like 90% exporting grains and the
worldwide,
world, especially to the Africa and to the Middle East,
sure,
to the places where they can grow that. That's
right?
what you're trying to
Yeah, exactly. You
teach
can't grow
them.
there, but you also have societies that are rebuilding from years and years of the after effects of slavery and colonialism. And now you've got new governments with people running those governments that never really had the capacity to understand how to run a government or bring people together and lack of capital to do things. So, you know, Ukraine was a major, and it's funny, not funny at all, but when we talk about conflict, um, food and conflict, you and I talked about this. Food is the biggest weapon of mass destruction,
Yes.
right? It's, you know, it's bigger than bombs. You can, and it's been around always. You lay siege on a city and you starve out the people in there. When you destroy crops or waterways that are growing the crops, you're directly attacking agriculture and what people need. That's the primary industry people need to eat, right? So Ukraine, I don't think a lot of Americans don't quite understand um,
This
how critically important it was geo- geopolitically. Um, and I guess so. Talk to me a little. We'll get off of that topic a little. Although we could talk forever about it, right? And we probably aren't going to solve the issue. But let's talk about the food. You and I. we've gone out to eat. We've talked about different food, and bottom line is, you grew up back there, great soils, known as an amazing
With the
place to
great
grow,
food.
and the food was great. And you're eating our industrialized food.
And that's like really such a big difference I can feel, um, because like as you said, I was raised on the like farm, grown and really like
Organic,
eco
mostly? Yeah,
organic,
yeah.
like real food what I say, because here I feel like I eat plastic here.
It's
I,
processed.
I don't
It's
eat food
grown.
here, it's a plastic.
It's grown with synthetic fertilizers. We
Like
spray any bug that's around there, and we probably eat a little of that pesticide as well ourselves. Right?
so that's the recipe over
And then we
here.
process it, and then if we can find an inexpensive grain like the grains of wheat we have now, which are hybridized or GMO, um, they're designed to fight off insects and or weeds or problems, and you can produce the food, and it looks like food. You go and
Yeah.
you look and you.
But then you know what happened? You know what happened with me here eating this synthetic food?
Uh-huh.
I started to have issues like with the microbiome in my gut,
Mm,
which I never had back in my country,
yes,
because everything contains the antibiotics.
exactly.
So here what I do, I have to take prebiotics all the time,
We have
like
a pill for
on the
everything over
regular
here.
base.
Yes, we do.
The prebiotic which I usually I take I in my country when they prescribe when I get sick and the doctor prescribes me some antibiotics, so they always prescribe together with the antibiotics and prebiotics because they want to protect our
Well,
microbiome in our
the
gut.
antibiotics can just
But
wipe your whole
here,
system
but
out.
here I have to take those probiotics all the time with the food, with the meal, with each meal I consume. That's how crazy is that?
Yeah. And because we're soil people, I have the soil company, the importance of microbiology in the soil. Um, in a handful, you've seen some of the compost that we have and the worm compost. One handful of our product, we've analyzed it, has over 2 billion organisms. Right? 2 billion. Um, those things have co-evolved with the vegetation in a particular part of the world and a biome, and they've co-evolved with the animals and the plants that are in those areas to a large degree. And if you have the right amount of carbon in the soil, if you've got a nutrient cycling with water in the soil, that is what eventually gets into the food that you then eat. And so you're naturally creating that microbiology in your gut
Mm.
that that fights off disease and makes you healthy. And you're like a guinea pig. We thank you for being a guinea pig for you. We've taken your body from a nice, healthy environment. We blew that environment up, I
Yeah,
guess, as a
you
group,
really
right?
did
And I say
that.
we being,
And
outside
then
of
we're trying to
Ukraine.
rebuild this to fix it.
Yeah, well, then that's at some point that's the thing, but it's like, why are we rebuilding something that already worked? And
Yeah, and
that's
this was like
it's a
perfectly
frustration.
created from the beginning, you
Yeah.
know.
So
No need to destroy it.
let's look at some of the questions we had talked about. Now, let's see, restricted by travel. So
Travel.
you're here now in the U.S. You're a world citizen.
Yes, I am.
You are a person who's lived and you're a bit of a nomad. You've lived everywhere because you want to experience life, right?
Yes,
So,
I do.
but now with the current visa situation, you got away from the danger of being blown up.
So many people escaped and tried and started to build a new life, like, and they went so far away from our country, from the everybody they know, and you United States invited those people, like
Hmm.
I don't know how many hundred thousands, like I don't know exact the number, but there is like lots of people,
That was
and
at a
now
different time in our
and
history
and
that when
and
we actually
now and
let
now what's
immigrants come
going
in.
on, all those people, they are like hanged in the air, and like they might lose everything again, because like right now the all immigration papers has almost stopped. They're
Right.
not processing uh, the applications, so many people like gonna lose their paroles soon, and there is no news, and there is nothing,
Yes.
like they doesn't know what to do.
Well, we've
uh,
these last
Everything
year
is
or so,
frozen.
right? Well, this last year or so, we've had a new regime, and
And it's really scary. Imagine how much they suffered, and now
yes,
they're gonna.
they're nationalists. So this we're very similar to pre-Nazi Germany, where
Mm-hmm.
we nationalized and we close off our borders. We don't let immigrants in, even though we're a nation of immigrants. And
But you need
immigrants,
the immigrants. Who's gonna work?
well, nobody in this
Who's
country.
gonna
We're
Who's
gonna
gonna work here?
we want to sit at home, watch television, and eat synthetic foods.
Yeah, that's
I
a
mean,
great
that's
idea.
it works for us, but we don't want anybody else to come in and do that with us. But so it's a scary thing, right?
That's really
We are
scary.
involved with our NGO in Africa right now, but all of the U.S. aid, all the things that the U.S. was known for, um, the positive things that the U.S. was known for worldwide. Now we're just known as another source of power,
Yes.
and look at the power guys out there. How many friends does Putin really
And
have?
how much
You know,
money goes to these wars? How many wars are America feeding right now?
oh, well, there's wars, and then there's wars you don't even know about. But
Yeah,
so.
exactly.
But now let's talk about that.
How many food you could grow instead of?
Well, if that was a priority, that would be a great question. If it's not a
Yeah.
priority, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter if there's other people in the world hungry and in need, because as long as we are taking care of ourselves, that's
Yeah.
kind of the philosophy, right? And it goes back. There's a lack of emotional intelligence. It's there's an ignorance involved in my mind, and I very rarely let this out on a podcast. So you brought it out on me. I'm sorry for those who have to listen to that, but uh, let's get back to this concept of resilience. You have reshaped your life many times. You left and went to Dubai, and I think Germany you were for a while, and
Permanent
you were everywhere,
Poland and
Poland,
Turkey.
and each time started something new, right? So um, now you're here in the United States, and you're trying to decide: are you here temporary, or are you here for the rest of your life? I mean, what is going on here, and what will you do next? And how do you have the courage to keep going, or um, where do you see your path, and how would you explain that to people who have no idea? Like tomorrow or tonight, you go to bed, everything in your world changes with
And
bombs outside your
everything
window, right?
disappeared. All your
Yeah. So how would you say
support.
to say a younger generation who can't even fathom that, they can't understand it? How would you say that you do that? How would you tell? How do you talk to?
But
I'm
to
sure there's
adapt.
what. How do you do it? How do you adapt?
First of all, that's very important to have like kind of sense of community, some support, someone who can talk to, who can share. Um, that's why I see here in the United States so many, and the people are like doing events to get to know each other and
Mm-hmm.
to communicate, to find the friends, to find someone, to find your groups. Like it's very important to find your group. So first of all, you have to go out and communicate and find your groups and talk to people, because uh, you can't stay lonely. This is like that's what eats you, what will put you down, and what will destroy you.
Being an island
Being an
doesn't work.
island doesn't work in this situation.
Right.
Yes.
How about social media now? Um,
Social
could,
media, I don't know. From one side, it's social. From another side, it gives you more loneliness.
yes, there's
Yeah, you see,
truth
you look
behind
at
that.
these images and this fake life, and it gives you like feeling that you are not enough, you're not
Isolated.
doing enough, that you're
Right,
like
right. You're not good enough, smart
y-
enough, pretty enough,
yes,
whatever.
that's you're like losing everything, you know. You
Right.
look at someone very, very successful, and everybody's successful on the social media.
Yeah, and but it's I think part of a drive to make everybody commercial, make everyone interested in buying. We all become
Yeah,
buyers, right? We
and
materialistic.
sellers,
So all of a sudden, you're looking at all these big brands, and
and
everybody.
everybody
You
is.
got to have a big brand
Yeah, you
outfit.
have to give a brand, you have to
Yeah,
give a
because who are
business,
you
you
if
have
you're
to.
not, right? And there's a big pressure. How does
Lots of
that?
pressure.
You saw your country, and this happened worldwide in 2010. The internet became available on cell phones, and 15 years before that, the cell phone came out. Now all of a sudden, everyone has a cell phone. Now you can see
Sometimes I just throw away my cell phone and I go read a book, and it's like makes me feel much better about myself.
there's not too many people who read books. I can tell you that. But it's with that
Unfortunately.
cell phone, you've seen it. Well, we're talking before you left Ukraine, so um, you've seen how that changes, right? I've seen it change here in the U.S. I lived through it all, but how did you see that impact in the Ukraine? Were people feeling like, hey, wait, we can't buy Dior. I can't have a uh, electric Tesla to drive,
Oh, they
or
couldn't buy Dior before the war.
right. I know.
You
So
know?
so now when social media came out, how did that affect the culture in general that you saw before? Now, of course, it's completely
Social media,
obliterated.
like from another side, social media gave so many opportunities to the younger generation generate money out of nothing, out of the air,
Yeah,
playing with the reels and posting and just monetizing. Now everything is about monetizing. They monetize all the social media,
and it's not a completely
and they
evil
live on
thing,
that. No,
right?
it's
Because
not.
we see social media may
It's
have
not.
actually aided countries like Ukraine and even what's going on in the Gaza Strip, because the general population worldwide doesn't want to see atrocity. So when they see atrocity and it gets posted immediately on social media, it becomes a real deal, right? And so I think part of that social media may have brought attention to a war that
And you can
100 years ago,
see and you
50
can
years
see
ago
the
may not.
real life and the different parts of the world.
Right.
And because if you see only from the side of the media companies, they work mostly for governments. Like they show
It's a
what
big
somebody
customer.
asked them to show.
Yeah.
But through the social media, if you look at the real people, they're translating the real life. So you can analyze and you can have a look at the situation from different sides and build your own opinion and like have a real sense of what's going on, not just from the one line from the one TV,
Yeah.
program. So that's
So I'm going to go through, we'll wrap this up pretty quickly,
yes.
but we talked about food and we talked about a lot of different things. Um, your traditions, what do you miss tradition wise, Ukraine? You've been gone now several years, and even before that, what do you remember from your childhood that you miss that you may never see again?
From my childhood, I remember like gathering with the kids outdoor and playing like games together and like hide and seek or some
I think
like
that's gone worldwide. I don't think it's not just
not
gone from the
not
Ukraine.
about
It's
only
gone from
Ukraine.
the US as well.
It's
So
about my childhood.
yeah. But that's what you remember is
That's
being
what I remember. But the natural things, I don't know. It's like have some holidays. For example, like Christmas or like Easter or another like traditional holidays. when we used together with the families and to put some traditional clothes on, to sing some traditional songs and cook like traditional food. That's all gone. That's really hard to, you know,
Accept.
maybe it's like gives you a feeling of unity or like some cultural unity, not even between uh, inside of the family, but with your like generations.
Right. It brings you back to the past,
Yeah, and gives
to
you
your culture.
power maybe from your roots.
Yeah.
No, now like we got cut it off there. But
You're like a plant that got torn out of the ground. Right?
yeah,
So, okay. Last question. You answer it whichever way you'd like, but you're now here. You've been here for a while. It's a new reality. What, how do you see yourself going forward? Is there a specific thing you want to do? Everybody says, well, I want to start a business, and I can tell you 99%
because
of
everything is
businesses.
about business here in the United States.
Right. But what would you really like to do? I mean, where would you, how do you see that? And what would you tell young people from Ukraine um, about, about the whole idea? Because a lot of people who might watch this are in
They're
Ukraine and
lost.
they've
They're
never
like,
been
what to
here.
do?
Yeah.
Never been here.
Yeah. So now you're here.
You
Do
know
you tell them this
this
is the place
place.
of milk and honey?
This
And
place is really it's like really hard to build a life to live. Everything is expensive, and but from another side, this place gives you opportunity to build something. It's like
right,
it sets you on to be entrepreneur and like all of us has something inside our passion or like what we want to develop. Here it brings these things like on the outside of you, like really really quick in a really fast way.
yes.
So it's like maybe this like I don't know. It gives you a real like kick in the ass. So you gotta do something all the time. I have to do something. I have to do something.
Yes, we
So your
are.
brain works like 100%
We're
full
we're
power,
an anxious people
full
right here.
power.
Yes, we
So
have
you
to.
just have to find your passion, like what you're passionate about, what drives you on, what like
Right.
what's your. For me, for example, it's about art from one side, and it's about the building strategies because I'm an architect and I have like very strategic
You
um,
see things
way
spatially.
of mind. So I love to do projects. I love to develop projects, and it might be different, like projects from different areas. I might to develop a small business. I work like I do marketing and I create content and I do some ads and I push it. I love, and I create strategy uh, how to build this business. I love to help people develop a project. And I love to work from on the things from different like ways. I can paint something. I can shoot the video. I can shoot the pictures. I can write the scenario. I can write the article.
You're a
I can create.
storyteller. You can do
I
it
can
all.
create a website. I
Well, you've
can.
had a life doing each one of those things. But
I love to build. I love to develop the project.
do you
But
have
for my own, I love like I also wanna sit and hide from everybody somewhere in the mountains and paint
don't
some
we
really
all?
nice pieces and
Yeah,
maybe to open my own like
studio of some sort.
studio or create the gallery like series of the painting.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Send us photos and we'll post them on this of some of the stuff you. And we I wish you the best. You've got a lot of moving parts going on. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Wish
So
me luck to finish all these parts because
yeah,
I can just start everything and then leave it.
yeah, go from there. Well, I appreciate it, Anna, for being on the podcast. I hope you had fun, and I'm sure your message is going to resonate with a lot of different people because it's not just about you're from one place, we're from another place, you're from a place that's in war. It really has to do with how humans can perceive the world, right? We call this harvesting wisdom. Your wisdom is really important for us to tap into because you're living something that a lot of people don't have to do, never will. But it's great. It's like reading a good book.
Yeah, be brave, people, and thank you for having me here.
All right.
It was a pleasure.
Thanks so much. Anyone watching this, please subscribe and
Buttons, all those buttons.
hit all the buttons on the
Kill
bottom.
the buttons.
Keep pushing this thing going forward. So,
Send me some likes.
all right. And I forget to say that too. I get in trouble for that. But yes, like this if you like it, and appreciate you coming here.
Thank you.
Thanks, Anna. Stay in touch. Okay. Thank you for joining the Harvesting Wisdom podcast. Click subscribe and like for ongoing insightful conversations. Explore our webpage for show notes and additional resources. Visit our guests' webpage for deeper insights. Your engagement is the foundation of our journey, and until next time, keep pursuing wisdom.